game not making the three.
Herb Jones misses. Here's a good number, Dickie. 41 and 40%. So either in the paint at the rim or three-point shots. That's 80% of their offense. 1,000 shots a day in the gym. Ended up at Oak Hill. And as we touched on, set the school scoring record for a career. Herb Jones comes back and drives hard. And the rest of the SEC teams through 2031 for this tournament.
Hey, what? Next year it's in Tampa. We're going to have a party at my house. We're going to be at the pool. We're going to have a blast. We're going to have a Dickie V party at my house. Carl, you remind me. We're going to do it here.
I won't forget that. Having a party
out of my mind.
Won the 31 tournament titles. No one else is even close. Herb Jones thought about a three. Spins right into Watford. Can't get that to go, but another offensive rebound. And finally, LSU comes away with it. Watford, the best basketball player out of Alabama since DeMarcus Cousins. He only had 9 yesterday. He's picked up his rebounding here lately. And that time straight up goes LeBlanc, sends Herbert Jones to the ground. Thomas and Watford. Quinterly was really good, a difference maker, and maybe a point guard that could take you to an NCAA title. Bench points, that's a big difference, 17-0, and there's your guy, Herb Jones.
Really, to me, they're the greatest athletes. Yes or no? Do you agree or disagree?
They're up there. I probably, athletically, I put Herb Jones at the top of any list as he flies in for a dunk. On SportsCenter at 5:15, bracketology at 7. LSU scoring 6 straight thanks to Smart's 2 threes. So Juwan Gary goes inside, misses the layup, and he and Watford. You'll be on at 5:15, Dickie V. I just got word. Be ready.
I think I'm going a little bit later, but the situation is, I think some teams out there better start chewing on their Pepto-Bismol.
Days will fire a three. That's off. And Darius Days continues to struggle. 1 of 6 from the floor.
And he can shoot the three. And it was also a quick example of Alabama basketball. Wade talked about it yesterday, about their ability to penetrate and find open people if you got to give some help. And right there was a great play by Quinterly to make that
a silencer with a three.
Can he play? Can he play? He's been doing it throughout his career. What a great game we have. What a great game, people. Call your friends of the country to those 3 guys. I mean, come on. They are so talented, especially offensively.
Quinterly was on the ground when he threw it to Ellis. Shackelford with a right gets it to go. Ending three-point shooter from Villanova. And he stands out there waiting to see what Jones does with it. He gets it to Juwan Gary. Herb's worked on his three-point shot. No good.
He's a real excellent player. Driving the basketball, spreading the court. They do a great job with spacing.
They space here. Jones will try again. That's short. They're 0 for 3 from 3. Springer got caught up in the air. Yeah.
Hey, Gordon, I got to ask you one question. Does Ken Palm ever sleep? How's the guy doing all that stuff?
Jones, and that's another chance for a three-point play in his life. He's a father as well, so you know he's had a lot of wonderful experiences. This is right near the top of the list as Quinterly's shot misses, but there's Herb Jones missing the offensive rebound, still alive.
4 other pauses along the way. Canceled the season at the end of the year so you can get ready for the tournament. And they're 40 minutes away from playing in the big dance. His name, the coach, pretty good. Name out it. I mean, he's just really a talented player. I like to see the kids stay in school, but it's pretty tough to turn that down.
Herb Jones, that's Eve Pons from behind, and that will be access denied.
Tennessee has played really a superb first half. And I feel Alabama's going to come back to this game and make this
a play by Herb Jones.
He's such a dominant performer even at the next level.
Herb Jones trying to dribble through Springer. That didn't work. They got some numbers.
Should have given a bounce pass up, Crow.
And even E. Pons couldn't go up and get that alley-oop as high as it was thrown. If anybody is going to be able to get it, it's him.
That was a set play, and they really executed well, except didn't finish it. Think about Tennessee, Mr. Sankoviak. Certainly think when you look at Alabama. And these people here, the SIDs, have been so good all year long. It's unbelievable.
Quinterly cuts it down to...
That could be big late in the game, Carl, as we know, we've seen so many times. 10-0 run by Bama. Like an
within 3 with 12:31 still to go. See the difference in the second half, and the field goal is 5 for 11. Alabama, we all know about their three-point shooting. 4 of their field goals have been, but he can't with 4 fouls at the 12-minute mark. A huge story in this game.
Yeah, big story because they don't have a whole lot of size inside players and a lot of good athletes.
Have Petty be 3 of 11 from three-point land and have Quinterly make 1 3-point field goal, and they got a chance to pull within 1. I would think, Dickie, you're a coach. What does this do for your team?
This feels regular in here. Across the way from me, Alabama's Crimson Tide faithful are losing their minds every time the Tide score or they get a defensive stop. And right here to my right, GBO's losing their ever-loving mind.
Understand even more why he's the player of the year in the conference for the things he does?
Yeah, you're right, Coral. He's multi-talented. He does so much. We know he defends. We know he can attack the rim off the bounce. We know he's going to dive for the 50.
Inside, or are they relying on the outside shot? That one was blocked. Exactly what we talked about at the top. Smith finds Adu, who lays it up and in.
When Adu is playing with a ton of energy, man, he's hard to handle. A big body.
They will try to push the pace, and they're going to either shoot at the rim or take a 3. You will not see a lot of what we saw from Kentucky yesterday, those 2-point shots, mid-range jumpers.
But Ravi, that's just too much room. You have to stay attached, and that's the bind that Alabama puts you in, guys, is if you can't stay in front of the ball and you have to come off in that gap help, man, shooters all over the floor to spray it to.
Ready?
Now, I saw Herb Jones in the hotel yesterday for the first time live all year. You forget that he's all up 6'8". You watch him play right now, and you think, number one, is he 6'5"? No, he is. It just feels like the speed of Alabama defensively just completely has everyone from Mississippi State out of rhythm. And even the pull-up jump shot that time by
Primo buries a 3.
Just have completely taken the life and the energy out of Mississippi State. This is not the only team they're capable of doing it to.
Jones on the drive with the left hand, in and out again.
Wow.
3 times above the rim, and Alabama doesn't score.
Guy, young man from Atlanta area.
Inside, that layup stays in for Herb Jones.
And they need a hoop. Crimson Tide.
Offensively in the first half with 2 points, working against Kamara, and now they switch off, and he goes to the rack, and a chance for a 3-point play to open up for Alabama.
Brad, Herb.
That's what you do with your teams, right?
I did. They didn't always listen.
You used to counsel the referees aggressively, broadcasters, you name it.
Yep. It's Herb Jones. He's living in the paint.
He tried to step back and get behind the line, and he still had a foot on it.
Yep.
Here's Jones, just what Pete says they should do. Go inside. He gets his own miss. Herb Jones, second effort, got it. Jones has got 6 in the second half. A pass for Alabama when they're off on offense. They don't mess around with it. They move the ball in a hurry. Here's Jones underneath against Horn. And gonna have a foul on the inside.
Features a couple of seniors in John Petty, Herbert Jones. Bruner, of course, playing his 5th year here in Tuscaloosa. And Jones bricks the first look. That was Alan Flanagan's first look. He averages close to 15 a game. Oh, what a slam, Herbert Jones.
Hey, were they going to clinch that SEC title? They've got that behind them. Now they can just get back to playing ball and working on their game in, game out. And I think that Arkansas loss.
Oh, nice catch. Cardwell collects himself nicely. And he's got 4. Oh, look out again. Herbert Jones.
You just can't have that off of Macon. they touched some plug.
Can you leave them out of this?
Yeah.
Man. There's Herb
Nice
Jones.
bucket. You got to keep him from when Alabama started to look like they were going to pull this thing away. Too big of a deficit.
Well, it's all Jamal Johnson, who has 8 straight for Auburn. Herbert Jones. He's got Alabama won over at Auburn Arena back on January 9th. It was a high-octane, high-scoring affair. We haven't seen hit its threes, now 3 of 12 from deep. There's Jones.
Is when the bench can be a motivator. If Josh Primo is not playing as well or as hard defensively, Nate Oates will put Keon Ellison and vice versa. And so that's what has helped this Crimson Tide team hold each, trying to win a couple blue collar awards.
Yeah, that'll get you some blue collar points. Oh, Herb Jones on the reverse. There's Nimnick.
Been doing it his whole career. Contested deep balls.
Absolutely elite defensive team. And brought to you by Farm Rich, the starting lineup for Alabama. Shackelford, John Petty Jr., 4 players on this Alabama team shoot 40 per Smith down inside, has that ball stripped away. And here comes Herb Jones, 6'8" senior out of Greensboro, Alabama. And there it is off the dribble and comes up a little bit short.
Got to finish that, but you can see
season average, which they will probably get to before this is all said and done.
The Stewart on the floor right there, Paul, number 3. It looks, I mean, I think he's on the floor. And this is what's working, Paul.
When is that? When is what's working boring? Look at how quick that was. Tolu Smith, number 35, and cut. Stewart showing no ill effects from the shot that he took earlier in the game. Stewart now with 8 points. Having a very good second half. Reese inside, battles for it. Ball deflected. Should be Mississippi State back.
Double team came. There's nowhere to go. Let somebody else make that assist pass.
Straightaway jumper missed by Herb Jones. Offensive rebound and jump shot by Smith not there. And Alex Reese, number 3 in red, has done a nice job for Alabama on both ends.
Wow.
That's too easy. The shot is missed, but boy, that was straight down to the rim.
That's when with the jacket on.
Jones step back off the front of the iron. Good block out. And Jalen Johnson.
Molinar on the drive when you're closing out to him.
Quinterly, who's been the offensive star so far. Jones has that rattle in and out. Long rebound. It'll be a fresh.
As Moody launches too strong in conference play. Quinterly shooting 53% from 3. Watch out. Herb Jones with the flush on a pass from Quinterly.
Yeah, Alabama really aggressive now, running that ball. Terrific job over his years as a college head coach of identifying transfers and talking to opposing coaches that play against those guys in those leagues, and really doing a great job of digging in to what he's getting. And that weekend.
Arkansas back on top. Herb Jones penetrates. Did he go to the left shoulder? He does, and he missed it. And that's on a good box out by Williams.
They get offense, man. They get about a clean look like the Brooklyn Nets do in the NBA. About a clean look anytime they want.
Right.
Good drive.
Talked a little bit later.
To me, slides to 4. That the physicality of Michigan is a real problem for everyone in that NCAA tournament.
All right, Herb Jones back in with 4 fouls. He misses the shot. Bruner missed the foul.
Double palm, can't get the bounce, and a nice rebound in traffic by Petty. Herb Jones takes it strong. And then somehow out to right. And then he has it poked away. Shackelford to Jones, reverse layup.
I think it was on inside on Dessou, and as Jones is coming up the floor. Barry Stackhouse. Oh, it's hard to picture.
Wood Robinson and, of course, Latrell Sprewell. The last time that Alabama won it back in 1991. Those were some fun teams to watch. That followed another couple. Last 4 in. Joe Lunardi has them right now. First 4 out. They are just dying to break that bubble and get on the other side. That would give the SEC 7. I think at worst.
Another foul 80 feet from the basket.
Truth South's final episode of the season coming to you on Monday night. They'll take you
to that left side, and that was a straight line drive to his favorite spot. Draws the help, knows what to do with it from there.
Shackelford drive and kick, and Herb Jones for three.
That's just not a free team and program in the conference can point to those eras and say, look, we have a passionate fan base. You just got to have the product on the court to get the fans to come out consistently and support them.
Jones off the bounce, rattles home. Herb Jones, the senior captain. Georgia's leading scorer, Xavier Wheeler with 10. Jones, another triple. He's off to a fine start. Now with
participants wear as well.
It's just another shout out to Clark Holter, who's like the hardest working athletic trainer. Staley has built the reputation over the years, in recent years. Herb Jones wants another three, puts it in. He's 23 in the first half of that game earlier this week. And was able to fight back in it the second half, but the Bulldogs are going to have to dig out of another big hole. And that's a timeout. Tom Crean stop here. You don't want the Tide to carry more momentum to the break. Ball in Herb Jones's hands. Puts up another. Georgia ball.
The difference in the ball
That's
game.
Huge. Plus 10 beyond the arc. Those free throws for the Bulldogs. Essentially the only reason why it's not maybe a 20-point game. Now it's a 15.
And to play well tonight, I think this is going to be a fantastic game.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups for Alabama, brought to you by Farm Rich. You see Herb Jones in the starting lineup, gets a shot up. He's been
kind of the glue to this team. Everybody respects him. He's got a good voice, solid defensively, but he needs to shoot the ball well when he's got the shots.
Herbert Jones got loose but couldn't finish, knocked out of bounds. Petty shares it to Herbert Jones. Did not practice this week, and he goes down. It might be slow coming back up. We got to.
Or if someone needs it, if they're a half game out of first, if it's up to the conference championship, yes. If not, I think a lot of teams probably need a few days to rest. I mean, that's just the demand respect, command respect, and handle sometimes the coaching staff on the sideline.
Herbert Jones gets it rejected. That's the second time.
That ball goes way up in the air.
Woods the answer. John Petty's shooting 49% from three in conference play. Herbert Jones can't finish. Woods, Bama leading by 3. This would be a signature win for South Carolina, Gamecocks team that had an 11-point lead early on. Herbert Jones with the 3.
That is Herbert Jones.
Low block from Missouri in this ball game. He has to be terrific. Right off the bat, Alabama, they do just what they do. Now, they are so good at field goal attempt rate. They get to that line often, they convert. And it's a big number today to follow since Alabama is so difficult to score against in the half court. There's my guy. I had 2, and then right back to the ball side for an open 3. Really good ball movement by Missouri early in this game, out to a 12-7 lead. They be played. They set the rules in this game early, and they have not wavered.
Of our NBA Saturday primetime lineup. Countdown starts at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, and it's streaming live on ABC. You can see it. The Mavs and the Warriors, Steph Curry and company.
Tech Miami. Tech had just missed a couple of free throws, and Miami parlays that into the lead with Isaiah Wong knocking down the 3, but just seconds ago, Hokies answered.
Elbow where he could fake the handoff and then turn and get to his left hand. He just does everything but make it. Mitchell Smith doesn't give up on the play and comes from behind to maybe bother Herb Jones just a little bit.
And it's rebounded by John Petty. An Alabama offense trying to find its footing over the last 3 games, and talking with Nate Oates today. Shackelford on the glass. Slow start for both sides. Pump fake led to a look, but a block by LeBlanc. Taking advantage of all of his 12 coming from behind the arc. Watford with the block on Herb Jones.
And do it all. And Darius Days is that way. When he plays well, LSU wins. When he doesn't, they lose. And I don't think there's any question that was a big reason they lost that last one to Texas Tech, is Herbert Jones not been as consistent as you'd like him to be, and that affects your confidence down low.
Jones steps through. Shot took a victory lap. Can LSU win this game without Cam Thomas getting plus 25 or more?
Yeah, I think they can, but it's going to look. I think Watford.
2 cracks at it. Here's Herb Jones the lead. Jones's floater, no. Teeing an air ball. Saved to Bama. A chance for Jones to push. Great assist man. Takes it himself. LeBlanc with the rebound.
Well, they're having a hard time keeping him in front. I mean, he's putting his head down and going.
All right, now the spacing here for Alabama.
All right, 5 guys out now. They put a guy underneath the basket.
Deal that Nate Oates was describing to us. And then the injured back. I mean, they didn't know if he was going to be able to play against Kentucky in that win on Tuesday. And now here he is, and he hasn't scored, but he's still an extremely willing first half. Davion Harmon lifted out. Well, Shackelford thought he had a lane, and that was closed quickly by Gibson. That's strong.
I got to get Reese back in the game. I think he's coming in. Is it? Yeah, he's coming. You have to. I mean, Rojas has been willing, but Reese would have been a household name if we had a tournament last year, because I'm telling you, Dayton would have had a great chance to win that national title.
Jones had that blocked. Isaiah Jackson is a blocking machine. He may get another.
All right, we'll give him a B.
There you go. Look out, Boston rolled another ankle as he fell backwards. And boy,
oh, look at this.
Alabama missed, but that's Herb Jones.
Hanging around. That's a Seth Greenberg shot from Fairleigh Dickinson University. Alabama style. Oh, what a three-point shot.
Herb Jones can't get it to go. He is absolutely running gimpily on that leg of his. And there's Jackson blocked at the rim by Alabama. Petty, Jones. That's good.
Got out in transition after the block shot. Cheerleaders.
Petty deep into the hole. He's bodied by Sarr and gets it back to Herb Jones. To your point, beginning with that LSU game, the next 6 in a row for Kentucky against teams that are in the top 40 by Boston to keep it Kentucky basketball. They like the Sarr matchup, Dickie V. They've liked that matchup with Sarr if they can get it one-on-one with Gary.
Yeah, get him the ball. Let him take it right there.
He missed an easy layup.
You know,
and that'll be Kentucky basketball.
They missed a couple of easy layups the last 2 possessions. You had the pass from Jones to Gary. He missed it. And right there,
and have a great level of attention.
Good defense by Bama. That leads to the transition. There's the easy deuce we've talked about, and it comes off that Columbia, South Carolina. Smith turns it over.
Yeah, that's an ill-advised drive. That's what Smith was doing earlier in the year.
Meanwhile, Herbert Jones with a cup. Anderson was the coach. And one Derek McKee was the SEC Player of the Year. That team would finish 16-2 in the Southeastern Conference. So, a lot of weapons for this Alabama squad. Second half underway. Jones on a 3. Line drives it. And Tolu Smith is there to grab the count as he's breaking out the variety pack tonight. And you want a jumper, he's got it. You want a drive, he's got that too. And then on the other end, an and one for Herbert Jones.
In a late clock situation, that's allowed.
It's the second three-pointer of the night for the Bulldogs. And then an air ball fired up by Herbert Jones. Smith lost it. Bama, numbers, Reese, alley-oop, no, follow, no.
I didn't like
Petty passed up a three. Jones will not, and he'll hit.
Yeah, that's been by far the biggest improvement in his.
Another giveaway. Petty took it away from Gaines. That's the third LSU turnover. Herb Jones with the left hand scores it off the window. And another timeout. Thomas Strong. That was Shackelford with the assist on the prior possession. Herb Jones adjusting and lays it in.
When we take the whole team feels like they're hot. They got the opponent on the ropes, and it is a contagious energy.
Herb Jones scores it again. The double figure dominated that locker room, but you know, from the player perspective, some of the veterans, you know, what do you expect in terms of their voice in the locker room in a game like this? There's Primo again.
Well, they finally get a fast break point. Down 17-3 in that category, and that all starts with getting stops.
Jones with the response. That's Herb Jones's. He has paid his dues, hasn't he? Spent 9 years as a head coach of Romulus High in Detroit before Bobby Hurley hired him as an assistant at Buffalo. While they have shot 34% as a team at this point this season, today it's been just relentless 66-7.
That's how far back you have to go with a tied 5-0 to start league play. On the drive, Herbert Jones with that left hand.
It's in the rotation because Alabama is the 5th fastest in terms of pace in the country, which makes it a challenge for big men.
The Arkansas center hasn't played very much of late.
I will say, he better watch out, because it's not like Nate Oates isn't going to recruit some more shooters that aren't going to get their attempts up, because that three-point record might not last as long as Brian Williams did.
Leaves it short. New 20 for Arkansas. Moody can't connect. Yeah, somewhere Jordan Bruner's going, hey, you know, don't make it look too easy without me, guys.
Slow, the kid, but he's getting better and better. He seems to be more in control of himself and really understands what a better shot is.
Herb Jones three. That finds the bottom. Alabama, good start from three. They're up 8. You just got a handful of points early on.
I like his potential. I think this kid is getting better and better every time I look at him. He's more confident in his game.
Herb Jones, long three, no good. Boston with the clear.
I just want to practice. Don't put me in games, John. Don't put me in games, Coach. I just love being in a uniform and practicing. They loved him on the team. Absolutely loved him. He was just a great teammate, very unselfish.
ESPN is streaming live on the ESPN app as well.
They're not going to lose a game. They're not going to lose a game until the tournament starts. Then it's for real. As the three ball, you know they're going to fire the three. As you said, Ravi, so well. They're going to. I'll tell you one thing. Off the charts. The way they blew out. They were up 30-35 at one time in this game. This is Wisconsin. Look at this here. Look at that breakdown. You can put a Mack truck through there. There's no defensive help. No, the last 11 times, but she didn't beat me today.
That's good. That's a stubbornness of you. You lose 11 straight matches and you're still out there trying to win. Here comes Kentucky. Davion Mintz.
Handful of second chance points, and that's been the difference on the scoreboard. 14 for Primo, 8 for Allen Flanagan.
That's good basket. Play at the right time and threw it to the right guy.
Jones, offensive stick back.
Bev, the ball got in the post.
Undefeated is probably where they will be heading into the postseason. The strip, another turnover, and Jones missed the gimme, not the second time.
But Jones is just doing what you want a guy to do. Primo's got swing.
No.
He's good at routine. Dunk.
Oh! The backdoor alley-oop for Alabama. And Herb Jones on the receiving end.
Yeah, they abused the freshman.
Out of there. Heading the other way with it. Herb Jones gets the lay-in.
All right. Now, you're a freshman, and you're Cooper. You just can't run out of the way. He's running. He gets to a spot, squares his shoulders, gets his hands up, and the ball found his hands. Terrific defense by Reese.
We'll keep an eye, Dan. This could be a big advantage.
Eligible for whatever the reason is your best one for a while. But he's been terrific.
26 points, 9 assists. Thor's got 15 points and 8 rebounds.
Herb Jones made the right pass on the drive. then when he got it back, he took his time. He, again, shot faked and drew the foul. He's in no hurry. Why? Because he's
in that Gator program. I thought it was interesting today, Ravi. Mike said he spent the last 15 minutes of their shoot-around today just sitting on the bench with Keontae saying, tell me where we're at. Where are your teammates? Where are they to the rim or drive it for kick threes?
Good defense by Trey Mann. Scotty Lewis now, and Herb Jones went by him and laid it in with the left off the window.
That's a real problem. Alabama
point arc. One of them is inside, down on the baseline as Herb Jones tries to work one-on-one against Trey Mann. Muscles his way in, can't get it to go, follows it, and it's going to be a foul on Herb Jones. 3 in Florida leads 11-8.
There is not a more improved player in this league than Florida's Trey Mann from last year to this year. Can't let that happen.
How about that take by Herb Jones right by Colin Castleton? That's Jimmy, and we've seen a couple of three-point field goal attempts. He will rarely take that mid-range 2. There's Jones to the hole again, and he's off to a good start. He's got 6 early. Obviously very different circumstances, but Trey Mann is the intended to there on the third row of the Gators bench area. Herb Jones continues to try to do work, picks up an offensive rebound.
Some really good job by Glover to accept that hard hedge. He drug it out a little bit and allowed Castleton to get free in his vision and delivered it right on time. It's really well done.
Paneled your Wizard of Oz, Wizard of Westwood, and you're now the Wizard of the Whiteboard. That's what we got for you tonight. Herb Jones inside after he missed. He followed it up. And after an 8-0 run to start the roof, but he got stuck on the ground and couldn't make it.
I thought he had a shovel pass for Colin Castleton that should have been given.
Herb 9. Okay, yeah.
Stay in front of the ball if you're Florida. Stay in front of the ball if you're Florida.
Herb Jones has made a living with the layups, missed a throw. Reese missed badly.
Check the ball and the backboard.
Herb Jones denied at the rim. Castleton.
And their natural movement is already going towards the rim. They are almost impossible to keep away from that restricted arc.
Got the ball, he turned around and he's staring at Herb Jones and he's nowhere to go with it. And here goes Jones to the rack and blocked. Good contest by DeRucci at the rim.
Drawing the crowd in.
Just the clickers, I can just feel the energy as people are tuning in.
If they don't, it's not going to work for them this year getting to postseason play.
Herb Jones says, I'll do this, and he knocks down a 3.
See it. He's only fouled 7 times in 7 games.
Jones with Fulkerson on him. He rises, no good, and is cleared by Bailey.
Alabama's going to
did over the course of his youth.
Well, he's the best defensive player we have in the college game. He's on the bench right now, but Gilliard kid, Richmond.
It feels like there's about 5 of them that could score 30 if they wanted to. Good hands deflected by Fulkerson. Ends up back in Alabama's, and that shot off the side of the backboard. Reese steps back, the 3 that high. Kevin Durant he'd be the first guy I would think of. Hard take. Fulkerson came over to help, but to no avail. Good job by Herb Jones with the left. About 8,000 fans into Bowling Arena. Nice take. And over the arm of Fulkerson. That's surgery.
That was a classic angle, field the defender, pin you, punish you play by Anasicki.
6'7", 245. Right over Fulkerson. The 3 drops. Johnson.
I said in the first half how good he is for a freshman guard playing around the rim.
Woo. That was a heck of a pass to Jones, and he couldn't get that to go short. And the activity continues. His punch kept it alive, but we got numbers. 3 balls were back. And a flush. Great pass and finish as Herb Jones drops it in. Conference.
Even when Tennessee's scoring right now, it just feels like their shots are hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, no easy, clean looks.
Pond's second block of the half.
Can he erase?
Done effort for Tennessee, and here comes Herb Jones.
Oh,
Pons with another block. Are you kidding me? And your full day of hoops on ESPN2 and ESPNU. Yes or no, Jimmy? Gonzaga go unbeaten. The offensive board grab. Pons with another block.
5-out offense. Keeping those guards high. Isolating guys right now. He's working on Vescovi.
Good defense. Pons wisely let that one go to the rim. That would have been a goaltending.
They've ran 5-out offense probably 85-90% of the time in this ball game. Spreading Tennessee out, driving at will. Reese picks the pocket on the bounce pass, and back the other way goes Herbert Jones.
Difference maker and a winner.
Here's Sloan missing the three-pointer. Now the Crimson Tide will get it back. What's that transition like going from high school to college ball?
I mean, that transition is huge. You think you're playing fast until you get to this level, and then it's okay.
Now it's Quinterly. Herb Jones can't get the three-pointer, but Bruner gets the tough rebound right against the Javon Quinterly with some space. Bruner to an open Jones, the lefty, off the mark with the three. But right there's Ellis going back to work. Bruner has knocked down a three already. Instead feeds Herbert Jones, now going 1v1. Tipped out of play by ETSU. Keon Ellis again.
And you just see it just trickling down to the other guys by him creating opportunities for them.
After an offensive rebound, Herbert Jones lays it in.
It's a great job by Herbert Jones to put the ball.
Now we'll see if the Bucks can respond, but it's a steal for Herbert Jones. Driving, scoring, Herbert Jones of Alabama.
It's Herbert Jones doing what he's going to be locked in on the defensive end just with his energy alone.
Now Jones going to work. Couldn't score there. Plenty of contact, though.
Points today on 6 of 7 from the field. So if there was any curiosity, could Charles Bassey hold his own against an SEC opponent? There's your answer. Look at that stat line. 14 points, 5.
2 men on the basketball. Bassey rolls to the glass wide open with the big-time finish. There's no doubt in my mind that Charles Bassey will be playing at the next level next year. And there's no doubt in my mind that
since stolen away by Hollingsworth, and Hollingsworth slams it home. His first basket and a big one.
And that's all it takes sometimes to get a player going when they're having a challenging day.
Now is the time for 5G. Now is the time to join T-Mobile.
Crimson Tide, the mascot, of course, an elephant. One of the most.
And he said, "Come on, Mike."
And so I'm wrong on that, I guess. Okay. Wow. Tough crowd. I mean. Oh, okay. These are suited mascots. Technicalities here. I don't know. I'm always going to go with the dogs.
If it had been the suit.
That's a great point. And the great players help in other ways even when they're not shooting well. Too often you'll see a player, if they're having an off night, shooting the basketball. Herbert Jones has been good. 12 points, 2 rebounds. As always, superb defense by the senior. But Fish, they're going to need some other guys to step it up for Alabama.
Well, Herbert Jones is experienced.
Takes it all the way. Back iron. And a
couldn't quite
rebound of the
make the play.
Hilltoppers. Yep.
But Herbert Jones, as you mentioned, he was able to stop Carson Williams on one end, and he wanted to go back on the
of fouling Petty 22, 23 feet from the basket.
Well, that's something else that's something else that Stansberry's been here. He's seen it hard. The 6'8", 210 junior out of Fayetteville, Georgia. You're right. These two teams both like to go up and down and shoot the three-pointer extremely fast. Furman over 60 that can catch Alabama sleeping at the wheel.
Herbert Jones spins, fires, won't go. Rebound with the Paladins underneath.
They're sticking too much. You want the ball to pop. It should move quickly so it moves the defense.
That three is short, but there's Herbert Jones with the offensive rebound and a second fourth from the field.
Nice tough drive. Herbert Jones.
Pounds to really bulldoze his way into the paint area. Good look.
Kick out three, and that one goes down for Herbert Jones. His 4th three of the year. He's now 9. Here is Herbert. Spins in the lane, and that won't drop. Tapped around by Herbert. Finally goes down. Good work by Alabama.
Tremendous job of moving the basketball. Nice pass by Mounts to the three-point shot. Around people where they're getting tested, having mental health where they're around their teammates. And I think if you see a nice finish, or Herbert Jones try to finish, I think if Coach K had said that in reference to his team.
Furman knocks home another one.
Absolutely. And, you know, Coach Oates changes up the lineups, and there's a gamble that time by Alex Reese that leads to a three-point shot. This
Herbert Jones takes it to the rim.
Tell you what, at 6'7", as agile and tied, the longer they can keep the separation, the better for Furman and the Paladins.
It's down to 5 as Herbert Jones adds to his 14 points. He now. Primo, there's Jones, offensive rebound. The tap will go, and Alabama has cut.
Furman doesn't have to foul right now. It's still a one-possession basketball game. He's a winner.
This is Apple Card. It helps you understand your interest, so you pay less of it. Not Apple Card is confusing.
But
I actually think they got that right. I didn't see it initially, but I think this is a good call.
I don't think we need to see if it's a flagrant or.
Quick hands by Petty has really improved his defense this year. This is Shackelford who's been quiet. Under 5 minutes to go first half with Joe Klein, Mike Morgan here in Atlanta. Can't call it Hot Atlanta because it's at the conclusion of this semester this week. Congratulations to Herbert Jones. Petty boards it.
First Bank Chicago has an experienced commercial banking team. Our bankers take the time to understand your goals, as well as the unique challenges.
And they're only down 8. I mean, he is really doing good things defensively and really doing nice things with the ball.
I mean, he's one of the few players out there that he could not score a single point. And again, a bad pass. 2 bad plays in a row by Alabama, and a nifty move attempted by Hunter. Can't get it to drop. And then Alabama can't hold on to it. Seconds more back on the shot clock. It was down to 5, so now you get 20. Clemson struggling to find good looks here in this second half.
In foul trouble yesterday and does not want to see that again, especially here against Alabama.
Yeah, his 4 fouls really changed the tone as Davidson rallied. Jones connects on the offensive rebound, and Bama on the board. Played well, but nothing to show for it so far. It's kind of a bitter pill to swallow.
It really is, especially when you consider that you had a chance at the buzzer to beat the eventual Maui Invitational champions. And Texas goes on to win.
Check that out. Our producer Joe McCoy informs us he colored a book during quarantine as Jones was rejected. Jimmy Nichols, great minutes off the bench tonight. Reeves in traffic. Jones gets it back. That's what he does. All the dirty work, the length, and the rebounding. He has been right.
Watson recognizes that he didn't have an advantage. He got it out to his teammates, and you see Herb Jones getting out transition. His ability to push the basketball makes Alabama different. And now, as he's worked on his three-point shooting, halftime, switching back to the zone defense, Ed Cooley continues to go back and forth, trying to find out what's going to work best for the Friars on the defensive end of the floor.
The stick back by Bruner. use.
Another one of my hoop sons, Keontae Johnson, knocking down a game winner today for Florida. Oak Hill product. Believe it or not, the reason why we got 6 of them have been 3-point attempts.
Coleman launches one up, and I don't think that hit the rim, so a shot clock violation. A lot happening in that sequence. Bama gets it back with a 6-point lead. About a decade, Corey.
Yeah, but year 2 has going to be different for him simply because you're talking about 13 newcomers into your program. And you consider that multiple players sat out last year. Our audience, while you were gone, that I wouldn't overtalk the game, but that promise is now rescinded. Being that you're back in your normal role, I go back to overtalk.
Herb Jones from the wing. 4-point
6 from 3. I would say light up the grill, but it's already hot.
Thank you. 2 for 2 now. First half dominated by Caleb Grill for UNLV. John Petty for Bama. Jones puts it up and in off the carom. Last season in Tuscaloosa with a broken wrist. Really lost the handle behind the bat. There's Shackelford. Jones on the offensive glass and a freak show. I mean, can you imagine the heartbreak for that program tonight? They played 2 games, lost 2 contests by a grand total of 3 points, Corey. Pays it off. Lead is 12. First meeting between these 2 teams, UNLV and Alabama.
With ultra low latency and massive service capacity. Oh yeah!
Who are you?
Just a smart boy with some bags.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm impressed.
I may have read your diary, nerd.
Wants to do, especially offensively at Alabama, and he gives them tremendous freedom, especially if you can shoot the 3.
Petty inside to Jones, puts it in. 7-3. Jones had a look, instead dishes it out. And on the wing, the 3 ball's good. That'll make it 7-6. That was one thing Jared Haas talked to us about this week. Williams is selfless and is not afraid to give it up, for including 2 by number 3, Zaire Williams. Here's Herb Jones with an aggressive finish.
But then that means that you actually understand what's going on.
Here's Jones down the left side, off the glass, and count it. A nifty move.
A tough take, and one of the things that
couldn't get the real estate off to get the jumper in the air.
Give Stanford credit.
5 on the shot clock.
Covering up that 3-point line. And most college coaches chart deflections during a game, and Wills is being very active on the defensive end of the floor, and it's turning into activity offensively for him as well.
Shackelford in and out. Petty.
Jared on many of the recruiting trails. Still see him on the recruiting trails at Stanford, but more so when he was at North Carolina as an assistant for Roy.
Second in the Pac-12 in that department a season ago. Over 2.5 per game. He'll grab the rebound on the other side. When I was talking with Paul Biancardi
for Jacksonville State. Herb Jones.
As in this case, as a Crimson Tide and Jacksonville State team.
And there's been almost 150 men's basketball games that have already been canceled or postponed before we even tip the season off today.
18 from 3. See if they can't heat it up in the second half.
Quinterly dumps it back to Herb Jones. That one rattles out. Courtney Loud. Adams with the hesitation. Won't go. Herb Jones out with it. On the move is Herb Jones.
That was close to, but they're going to need him to step up and try to get the lid off the basket.
Herb Jones on the rebound into a double team.
The opportunities, and so Alabama, if they could just get the second rebound, they'll be okay.
Ooh, looks pretty solid. Herb Jones throws it home. Turnaround shot from Juwan Purdue gets to drop. And there's Herb Jones taking it to the basket, but misses. Jones out with it and on the move. Keon Ellis dumps it out to Rojas. Jones is there. Alabama averaged almost 11 three-pointers per game last season. It was third in the nation. Jones driving to the rack. Second chance.
Yes, he inherited some talent, no question about it. But 1 through 5, it was not the type of personnel he's typically had at Buffalo. Now he's got the guys that he wants in there, both offensively, defensively, the type of talent and their ability to score even when the ball's not going in as well as it normally does from deep.
There's Herb Jones.
They've struggled. Alabama dominated them in their 2 meetings.
This is Herb Jones. You talked about him in the open. He finds Keon Ellis, who knifes in for a layup.
And there's another example.
And out.
He's the best long-range shooter in the conference. I mean, smart. I love him. I've loved him from the first time I laid eyes on him. He's a big-time player.
What a start, Keon Ellis. A layup and a 3.
18-1 when he scores in double figures.
Jaden Shackelford hot today. 2 threes so far. And it's the 13-7 advantage.
I think again, too many open looks exceptionally well, Carl. Number one, they defend really well. They come after you. And number two, the 3-ball. The 3-ball becomes big in tournament play. And they have that ability where they don't have really a major.
Loose ball, Thomas has it. Spins back. High archer and an air ball.
Should have brought that ball back. They should have got a deuce out of that set. They tried to go for the spin.
Smart breaks down Gary, the floater, too strong. Watford had his hand on it, but it's Petty who comes away with it.
Petty's got to get
it going is right. He puts the brakes on. They kick it to Vescovi, ready to shoot. When he got it, he knocks down a 3. Santiago Vescovi now with 9.
Up 15, baby, up 15. Vescovi playing well.
And ESPN Plus on select unlimited plans. And Discovery Plus on us. You even get one of our best 5G phones on us when you buy one. And it all starts at just $35. Only from Verizon.
12 in a row, 9 overall. The last loss was to Cade Cunningham at Oklahoma State. He's really coming on strong.
As Jaden Springer turned the corner on him.
That was a good call. Never beat him to the spot. There's no doubt about that. He's going to go to the goal.
This 21 came in the second half. We're set to start 1 of 4 today. Abdul Adu, who was so great in the first half yesterday, is controlled by Alabama. Active defense as the bounce back to Smith on the baseline for the dunk.
Mississippi State rallying really good at having a big play with their butt to the baseline, coming out of that short corner for dunks, tip-ins, and Kobe Smith's got to start fighting for position on the inside. He's guarding himself right now, standing.
DJ Stewart. He did that all day yesterday, that tuck in
there. No, we've seen a lot more contact in this league this year than what just occurred, but Alabama's ability to get to that free throw line off those threes is uncommon. As you're breaking down on film, you know that you're up against an awfully fast shooter at every spot and a tenacious defensive team. We're seeing it all on display so far.
Chips. There's the chance they back up the football with a basketball if they continue to play this way for Nate Oates. 32-12.
Just what you would expect.
If you care more about low taxes than tall buildings, if quality of life feels like an oxymoron, if home is the most important word in work-from-home policy, Ohio is for you.
Interesting, Ravi, that Alabama has not had a shot block so far in this game, maybe one. But there's only 3 teams in Division I.
He shot that from his hip.
Boy, when he told us the other day, 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon on CBS, we're ready to play, he wasn't kidding around, I guess.
He's excited for sure.
With a chance to regain the lead. Or, let's see, Jones, they kick it outside. This would be for the lead if it goes. Broner drops it in.
Yep. I'm calling a timeout now. Yeah, but he's a terrific young man. He's 42 years old, and he's still practicing with the team.
Yeah, Tom Crean said he's a great influence on the team because of that youth. Great recruiter. Petty knocks down a...
Keep driving the ball. Get the ball to Herb Jones. Get him the ball. Horn can't guard him. Take it to the hoop.
Extra pass, three-pointer by Shackelford. And so the hot hand.
Shows, KB Burdett, Will Howard, Alabama in the white, Auburn in the road navy. And the lob on possession number 1, John Petty. Marksman as well, didn't get the friendly roll of air. Jordan Bruner. One of the has garnered so much attention and recognition, rightfully so this year. What was the holy cow moment for Nate? Here's Petty for the 3. He goes, I mean, when I program has received, pardon me, Dane, it's been deserved.
Yeah, and I think the turnaround really started last year. A little bit of a disappointing regular season, but they learned they can't just outscore people. That's what got them to commit to the defensive end.
And you might have sabotaged yourself earlier. Yeah, you know, that Michigan score, while astonishing, first off, there's Petty for 3. Topical for this Alabama team, who Tigers now 5 of 22 from deep. That's just 23%. Shackelford, yes. 12.
And then again, Tolu Smith with the power layup at the other end.
Shackelford's been struggling a little bit from outside the arc, but when we spoke to Nate Oates, who we'll get back to, speaking of struggling, 6'3", second basket.
And they got to do that, Paul. I mean, I know I'm a big guy and I'm biased, but that's where their advantage is.
Well, you have to be yourself, just like Alabama is going to be themselves. Jaden Shackelford.
If you're rolling, if Johnson's rolling and he's making them and the team's rolling, absolutely shoot that. But this is a muddied up, tough game.
And what a stretch of 45.
Look at Arkansas continuing to just down that action, man, making you drive down that outer third.
John Petty drains one, and that was off a Herb Jones drive and kick. Petty, that's a tough shot. High arcing 3, finds the bottom.
That was Trisselman by Oates, is to get a drive opportunity for a drive and kick.
Bruner.
Bam.
Oh, he's on fire, his 4th 3. And what a serve. Rebound with 4 fouls, Herb Jones. Gary sees a lane and he lays it in, and just like that, a quick 4-0 run.
Remember his name was announced. It is senior day, so all 5 men on the floor and our Farm-Rich starting lineups for Alabama right now are seniors. That, of course, will change a little bit through time. That won't change. Alabama see.
Well, let me ask you this. Has there been a more complete performance by any one player in the league this year?
No, haven't seen it. And again, one thing Kentucky does well, even with their...
There are no tan lines there. None.
No.
0.
He has definitely been avoiding the sunlight, as have we for the most part. A pretty brutal winter. 13 to lead Vandy.
Again, all set up by Pippen, drawing defenders, and then a wonderful ball fake by Evans. Look at how compact Ellis. And half of his shots on the year are 3 balls for the junior college transfer.
Reese fought for it, but knocks it out of bounds. It will be Vanderbilt basketball.
That means now Bama 8 for 36. From Alabama's really found something with Shackelford driving.
I mean, he's been nearly unstoppable. He's got 22 points, and 8 of his field goals have been on those type of driving.
Really brought the energy in this game, whether it's blocked shots by Kamara or Devere Wheeler putting pressure up top on the defensive end as well.
Can't leave that man open. John Petty. 12 for the Bulldogs.
It'll be tough to find anybody faster with the ball in their hands than Wheeler.
Javon Quinterly drains it. Fresh off the bench. Opponent the day before you find out, well, we're not playing that game. It just messes with your psyche as well.
That triple is good, and it's Keon Ellis, the junior from Florida.
And right now, men's college basketball, the only one out there that still plays halves.
Oh, rim running, Alex Reese. Built this giant deficit. Shackelford with the right-hand finish.
He's got such good footwork and pace when he goes.
Said today, hey, there's some games we're just not making the hard cuts. That was a terrific cut by Lawson. Got the pass and made an easy bucket.
All alone in the baseline out of bounds. Alex Reese versus twos.
Yeah, a lot of teams are trying to take Petty out, meaning take him out of the offensive end. They're getting after him. Oh, good cut. Good back pick by Petty to free up Ellis inside. Reese
has added a lot of Thursday games. Have you seen SIU Edwardsville, their schedule?
No, I have not.
They're playing like every other day for a week or two straight. Javon Quinterly.
Herb up kind of soft with that bad back, and Justin Minaya. Solid start this first half. There's where Petty shines right here.
Off the base.
Bounce it, frees up not only his game but his teammates. South Carolina only 3 of 14 from beyond the three-point line tonight.
3 ball goes for Reese.
Petty on a little bit of a road.
Kusnard, who's been guarding Petty, now it's Moss on him. Picked up his third. There's Petty inside. 17 now.
It's against Wisconsin, a 38-1 record. Very difficult to do. But the biggest concern is not the score for me right now, if I'm Nate Oates, is how we are playing is the biggest concern.
Coach Will Wade mentioned they got to do some things differently. And one of them you've already seen. They're doubling the post in there. Nice skip. And the slip pass to John Petty. LSU loves to switch 1 through 5.
Because we say it, but because we've done it. We can lock down because we've done it. Look, Alabama took Kentucky completely out of the game in the last 5 minutes. Now, for Oklahoma.
Because we're not built for followers. We're building for leaders. Check out ohioisforleaders.com/TV.
And back and forth, Oklahoma by 4 over number 9, Alabama. Kentucky, Alabama lost 2 of their stars in that game in Jones and Bruner. And Bruner hasn't come back with a torn meniscus yet. Good inside pass.
Simple little give-and-go basketball. More than Harrison kids, and coming off the bench, Ulis and Booker. I mean, come on, 4 guards like that. I mean, you know, look at the layup. Oh, Carl, there's no defense, Carl. Carl, simple little.
20 there. Feels like that. Dante Allen into the game, and off the bench, he's instant offense, and he's hot. That's a good start, and he knocks down the 3.
Well, he's capable of shooting it for admittedly. Arizona got involved in an FBI investigation involving the assistant coach at Arizona. Oh, nice cut right there. Great look, great vision. They find each other, Carl. There's so many guys on that bench who can play. You can't play. They're not going to recruit you, I'll tell you that. So they're trying to get in the foul line area, use as a passer. That's exactly what I was trying to tell you, Carl, earlier. Get in the foul line area, use a job checking the three-point shooters. Kentucky trying to match up.
6-0 run for Kentucky until that dunk. Good pass. Petty got open underneath.
Working on the glass, Carl Ravage. You gotta love that, Carl. Come on, Ravi. Give him a cheer.
If you're looking for a
to 9-0 with a victory tonight, 21 seconds to go.
Free throw line late in the game has been good for Alabama. Converting on that free throw line. You don't want to foul anybody here.
Currently as a number 2 seed, according to our own Joe Lenardi. Kick out pass, sets up another open 3 and another make for Primo.
It's one of the challenges by he is a sweet shooting lefty.
The pride of Grace, Mississippi. Population under 100. And then on the other end, Alex Reese, who is mid-range game, misfired on that one. Inside. Tough angled shot, but knocked down by Ambrose Hilton. Shot clock at 7 for Jones. 3 ball from the corner is knocked down. Alabama hitting them from every.
And that plays into Mississippi State's hand. Isolation.
Petty off a curl and a 3, and it's off the window and in. Seconds. Alabama takes a shot on average just 14 seconds into the shot clock. This will be much quicker than that in transition. It'll be Reese. We got a foul. They will not foul, and Bama will get an easy deuce. And that is your dagger. Alabama is going to improve to 8.
Now, if you thought he couldn't top the performance from Saturday when he broke the program's all-time three-point record, he's trying to one-up himself. Here's another. Got it again! Start this evening.
Fine is the understatement of the night. This is as good of a start you could ask for.
6 triples in the first 4 minutes.
A point guard for a layup.
Javon Quinterly, fresh into the game, knocks it down.
It's going to be shoe is good enough to close the gap.
LSU shooting 48% from the field. Just can't keep up with the barrage. And Petty's rampage continues. There he is on the break. Petty hesitated, no problem.
I love it. The hesitation, like, oh, Shelton, Alonzo G. There's always been some really strong talent at Alabama, but this may be not only just a talent.
Primo, a kid to watch, number 11. He's a freshman. He has been outstanding. And there's Jordan Bruner as well. First shot, 3.
They can shoot the 3 ball. That's the one thing I put up on Twitter earlier. Well, I don't know about that yet because Nick Saban's in another world. Anytime you win 7 national championships, but he's certainly up there. Oh, look at this. Breakdown defensively. Simple execution. Follow for the ball. Go to.
Other than Primo, the threes have not been falling for Alabama. They're trying to get to the bucket a little bit more, and now Bruner spots up and hits.
Hey, Bruner's come in this game in the last couple. But having somebody that says, I'm taking you and I'm keeping you in front like Jones would be good, but you got to give him space and make him shoot over you.
They have not ruled out him for the season. The reality is they don't expect him to play the rest of the season. Inside move, and it's good after we saw that 15. And we will have an Emmy Award-winning toss to break. And we are in line for that now, which is great.
And you do have a turnover tonight. Throw the dadgum ball out of bounds. Don't have live turnovers against Tennessee.
Oh! Well, this turnover for Tennessee, and the first bucket of the game goes to Jaden Shackelford. To his strong side, the left. That's just blocked by Jones. He picked it out of his hand. Corner 3, Shackelford. Money! Defense to offense. And
when he's on defense, and I would try to get that 3rd foul on this end.
Jones got himself under the basket, but with a nice pass. Good work by Herbert Jones to avoid the foul. It drew 2. Long 3 from Reese off the front of the rim. Right to Herbert Jones. Corner 3. Good. And Alabama rolling right now.
That's where he lay his hat at, and he's looking forward to getting that award this season.
Scoring the basketball a lot, now distributing the basketball for Shackelford. Bama by 4.
And that's a great extra.
Well, let's see what Herbert Jones can do for Alabama. Beating Shackelford long range and still buried it. Jaden Shackelford with 20 points for Alabama.
Somebody beat us to the punch. Nice dump down pass, and Jordan Bruner with the easy layup. He now has 7, 5, 0 for 3 from behind the arc. That 3 won't go, but there's Herbert Jones. Second chance opportunity. And Herbert Jones sets up his teammate beautifully with the offense. Here's Herbert Jones.
Rojas got it, and Alabama has their first lead of the game. There's some pressure. Alabama beats it.
Beautiful.
That'll be an easy lay-in for Shackelford.
Whatever you have.
And Alabama lost the handle. Quick hands by Nick Honor, who's been so valuable, and this is what he does best. Knocks down the triple. 38% on the year. I think Bruce Pearl was telling us they hadn't had a positive test since July 4th. You know, at some point, there still is a level of
off in your head to shoot the basketball. And now that Alabama's had some success on the offensive end of the floor, you see Providence going man-to-man. Great execution by Alabama now. Now it makes more sense.
Yeah.
I watched
halfway through our first half. And a basket good from the wing. That's another shot.
The Friars 8 points, and this is a mismatch right here. Petty loses the basketball. That's one he should have just pulled up.
Inside, and the bucket. Ambrose Hilton on the alley-oop. Comes up aces later.
But you see what just happened on that possession. Nate Watson got out to the corner and not only took away the three. Now Alabama still makes a three right now, but Alabama can make the three, and you have to respect them from beyond the arc.
Here's Jones on the run. Outside, guess who? Hamilton was rejected. I think that was Petty. And now Jones in transition. Primo, there it is. Count it.
He got it. It was a couple.
Found a cure for hiccups. Yeah, but nationwide 5G and I'm saving 40%? Come on. Oh, almost forgot. I figured out time travel. So we're gonna get nuts later.
Switch to Spectrum Mobile, get 5G nationwide, and save up to 40%.
Right now, where you're playing with no fans, it is a difference maker in college basketball.
Sweet look inside, off the glass, Keon Ellis.
Team from beyond the arc, Alabama, with that being such a staple of what they do on the offensive end of the floor, they can't afford to go out and not shoot the ball well. So getting the ball inside on the first possession.
MCL sprain. They move it to Shackelford. He started out the game with a couple of threes. Can't get that to go. Jones hustles after it, but it's LSU, and they got a man Hyatt ahead of the field.
With the whimper at the controls.
The Whimper known, of course, for his plaid jackets, which is something that the tribute has been season-long from Nate Oates. He thought that ball was out of bounds off LSU. Running Thomas, he was swallowed up by three tied. They give it back, and it's Watford. No foul, a lot of contact, but no foul called, and now a turnover for Alabama.
I think they missed one right.
TV, and you know this, I don't want to harp on the baseball thing, but Jacob deGrom won a Cy Young when he was 10 and 9. All the other numbers point in the direction of best player on the team, and that's the case for Herb Jones, who just... Johnson, a projected first-round pick. He had the dunk of the year in the conference for sure.
Just assumed he was their #1 scorer, but he was not. #4.
Did a lot of other things, didn't he, though? Bailey rises up, no good. That's a three ball. That one drops. They needed one, and they get one.
That was a big, big three. Carl, I missed who made that three.
Herb Jones in the paint. And he walked.
That was a good call.
This half. And again, loose ball picked up by Alabama. And right back it goes. Turnover for turnover.
Brad, it looks like a bakery. There's more turnovers. That's what he needs. Wheeler's got to get some help.
Justin Kier, grad transfer, playing his last game here at Stegman Coliseum. Another offensive foul. And again, Kamara's the guy. You can't be serious. Yes, they were up by 14.
Yep. If I'm Alabama, I'm just getting the ball to my best player, Herb. Another turnover.
Double-figure turnovers by both teams. Was open, and somebody's got to shoot him. Quick pass in the paint for Jones, picked off by Kier. That's it. Georgia's not going away.
Nope.
Better get back, though, and the ball out of bounds. Back-to-back turnovers as Jones lost the handle of that one.
To get some points from the stripe if they're going to keep up with Alabama.
There was 4 fouls on the Tide in the first half. A rare Alabama turnover. I
tell you, they're doing enough on the defensive end. They've got Alabama just 30% from 3, under 40% overall, and they bothered them some with this zone.
Who's this going to be on? Oh, a turnover, a costly one for Alabama.
Look, they've had a couple losses. The Arkansas game was the only one where they really got beat up pretty good. Plus 35 at the free throw line were the Razorback.
Spin down inside, ball comes loose. Jones lost the handle. Dave in conference play.
Another point of emphasis for Coach Howland was long shots, long rebounds. Alabama just got another one back. Can't happen.
Herb Jones, who you talked about right before the tip, did not score.
He has missed them all so far.
Yeah, Reese has taken the bait at some point. He's got to figure it out.
Herb Jones penetrates. We get a charge on Herb Jones. Charge drawn that time by Arkansas. Herb Jones traveled. Yep. Turnover for Alabama.
Arkansas's defense has bothered Alabama. We're going to give you different looks. We're going to put different bodies on you and make life miserable. So far, they have.
Herb Jones, did he walk? He did. Another travel, another turnover, the 6th of the game. Let's call it tighter, or would that not be part of it?
No. That's not the. I don't think that's in the equation tonight, Ravi. These guys study a lot of film. They understand tendencies. Is this a heavy ball screen game? Well, time 39-38. A very important 20 minutes ahead of us. Alabama trying to wrap up their first SEC title in a long time.
And how about 8 seconds in, we have the first foul of the set.
Back and gets a 14-footer. What a run by Arkansas.
Wasn't influenced by the 4,000 coaches yelling at him?
He was not.
Herb Jones, did he pick up his fourth?
The case the last week and a half. They started at Oklahoma, weren't sharp early. They did the same thing on the Saturday afternoon against Missouri, weren't sharp early on the offensive end. And so what defenses do is they pack it back a little bit. They're going to entice you to shoot the 3 ball more than normal. Another turnover.
Active hands by Bryant. Going against Petty in the paint. Petty with a bump in the paint and put up almost an air ball with a hook shot. Reese finds it. And then Herbert Jones gives it away. A little sloppy ball handling for Alabama. That's their 8th turnover game we got to have. We're playing for a conference title, and that lead is shrunk. Jones turns it over. Here's Bryant around Petty. Lost it on one end, Reese on the other. Loose ball to Herbert Jones. And then Petty took his eye off of it and turned it over. Drinks all the way around. South Carolina turns it over on the baseline out of bounds. Another turnover for Kusnard. Alabama trying to return the favor. They do. And then Seventh Woods steps over the line trying to save it.
Sitting back.
Sloppy pass by Bryant. Turned it over. Alabama chance to push. And then a step on the inline by Herbert Jones.
Well, Jones has had
that this guy here is not it. I think you could put Herb Jones on an NBA playoff team right now as a rotation guy, and he would impact the game. He is vastly underrated on every mock.
With only 5 points, they're 2 stars. Jones has the ball in his hands now. He drives Tillman, and he gets knocked to the floor, and it's out of bounds and a quick turnover for Alabama. Tillman outstanding on
shooting 52% in this one. Only 2 of 8 from 3. Do you think Nate Oates is happy with the tempo that his team's playing with? Here's a chance for LSU. Javonte Smart.
They're playing that 4-guard lineup, the different lineup with Harkless in.
Well, watch Alabama. Rarely does a guy just go right down to the post. You see 5 guys outside the 3-point line.
Lon Crew
ball knew where Manick was.
Jones had his pass intercepted. Another run out for Oklahoma. And to the corner, and they got another three from deep in the corner, and Reese.
Yeah, Reese was open because on the backside of that, Herb Jones, #1, set a great screen for him, pinning the defender. Travel, one guy offensive foul, but watch this defense. Harmon just keeps moving, gets to the rim first, doesn't reach in. That needs to be taught. Speaking for those of us that have a tight flight.
Dan Dockich wardrobe.
Joshua Primo, all outstanding three-point shooters. So is Jones. So is Reese. You can't just deny one. You got to deny them all. There's a turnover. Their future is bright with Nate Oates. His recruiting class has been good. He's got some upperclassmen here. Herb Jones into the paint, and that's a walk.
They went to a 2-3 zone right there. Calipari trying to change.
Georgia Tech, as Herb Jones was open in the paint, instead of taking a shot, he turned around and threw it to somebody for a three. They get it back to him, and their 7th turnover tonight.
Yeah, they're really turning the ball over in this game. He's helping me with the B Foundation, raising money. Anything he does it the right way, with passion, pride, and feeling.
Mintz all the way into the paint.
Up by Reese. Jones, drive and kick, but a walk. Fear in anybody that even went near the paint. That's how good he was. I believe second on that all-time list for block shots in the SEC was one Shaquille.
Attention to that because Tennessee's first and Missouri's last in the league. Tempo. Missouri only took 44 shots in that first game. And then free throw shooting because neither team is a great free throw.
But he has played 10 minutes, so, you know, you'd expect that type of production.
I mean, Dane, this is an astonishing start. By the way, that's the 5th.
Is over.
Yeah. The economy of the arcade room went down. Herb Jones pounces on the loose basketball. 6th Bama turnover.
Alabama's such a fast team. You must protect the ball better. Something Arkansas had trouble with last game against LSU.
Almost a little too casual of a pace from the Hogs. And it's Alabama with the 5.
And it was an off night and you just weren't shooting well. That's one thing. That's the burn the tape scenario. But if you got beat on effort plays and you're trying to send a message to your new team about the identity that you want to have as a program, then I agree.
You can start calling yourself a basketball school, which is what Alabama did a few nights ago.
I had the privilege of playing against some of the great ones too. You asked me before the game, you know, was Alabama, what kind of run?
Make their dreams come true through hard work. It's all very good to hear.
I love watching. I do. I think those two kids, you know, Mac Jones is great. Billingsley, I mean, the whole.
In the top 25. And those Michigan Wolverines that you referenced still undefeated. A tumultuous poll this week.
Is not comfortable down there. Advantage Auburn, 3-point play. Terrific by the Auburn staff. Defense by Alabama on Cooper and off the ball.
Jones had it blocked by Thor.
Tell you what, Petty's doing a nice job on. Boy, they were not. Auburn was not set up to switch everything and to make it difficult to get it in.
Gators bench area. Herb Jones continues to try to do work, picks up an offensive rebound, some contact and no call, and it's going to be Gator ball.
Yeah, but Herb Jones is wearing everybody out in this game with Castleton on the roll as well.
Yep. Glover did not play against LSU. He got 4 minutes against Vanderbilt. Herb Jones goes in and gets called for the walk. For Yale, where's number 2, a senior there. Along with John Petty, Jaden Shackelford, Herb Jones, and Javon Quitterly. It's a turnover. One thing you'll see tonight, Tennessee.
John Petty for Alabama had 30 points the last time he played in Thompson Bowling Arena as a sophomore. And Josiah Jordan James, number 5 for Tennessee.
Who misses, and Tennessee stuck on a dozen.
Hope he goes for that rebound with 2 hands. It's probably a finish.
Behind the back, that didn't work out. And then the run out, no. Farm Rich, and this Alabama team looks like this. Herbert Jones, Jordan Bruner, Jaden Shackelford, Josh Primo, who just turned 18, gets the start tonight. Keon Ellis also in the starting percent.
Think about Terrence Davis and the job he's doing with Toronto's trying to find his way this year. Wow, and that is a huge third foul.
Points through the first 6 games of the season for a Rebel team since 1980-81. But tonight, Alabama has posted 70 as an offensive foul.
Game, and Alabama will get it back. Shackelford in transition. Bucks steal it away, but right to Herbert Jones. Off his defender, offensive foul called against Jones.
Yeah, and Jones is
large, so even if they take their lumps in November, December, as long as it gets them ready, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that, and I think they played some good games in this non-conference. And
with the basketball, 10 on the shot clock for the Tide. Herbert Jones lost control of it. Ty Brewer with the steal. In transition, Ladarius Brewer got it.
You won't say he's a shooter or a penetrator. He's just a baller. His team, if you go out to the park and play every day, is going to be the team that stays on the court and wins victories, Mike.
They did call an offensive foul. Don't forget, tomorrow should be a great top 20 Big Ten battle. Number 13, Illinois squares off against number 19, Rutgers at the RAC. First time the Scarlet Knights have started the season with 5.
I have to give Alabama a lot of credit. This isn't the type of game that they would like to play. They like to get up and down, score in the first 7-8 seconds. But they have displayed tremendous patience because...
Looks like they're going to give it to Bruner underneath, and now Alabama back the other way. There's a takeaway by Alex Hunter.
Terrific at finding mismatches. They try to move the basketball, and if you have a weak link, a guy who they think that doesn't have the foot speed to keep up with their guards, they'll expose it.
Or turnover.
Nice pass.
Boy, Petty can't buy a basket, and then the turnover. Here comes Hunter the other way. Hunter the other way.
Potential of Alabama making a lot of threes off of the help defense.
Clemson with trouble getting the inbounds in. 5 on the shot clock. Maybe a tough shot here.
Might need the bounce this campaign than a year ago when he was first team all conference.
Winnerly comes back into the game. But you see, just like that, Providence goes back to the zone defense for the Friars.
Yeah, he called him a brilliant two-way player, and at one point called him one of the best two-way players in the country on cue. He gets the turnover, but the Friars give it right back.
I'm not sure if you're going to beat Alabama having to make tough twos. That's what they want you to do. But if they turn it over and allow you to get out in transition, that's different. Well, they're not going to quit. Ed Cooley is not about quitting. And he does not accept that from his players. So that's one thing for certain. They are not going to quit. Now, it's going to be up to Alabama as whether they can continue to hold on a little more fabricated. I'm not sure if that was legit. But I like John Wall with James Harden more so than I like Russell Westbrook with James Harden. Big Ten championship. Well, Michigan just canceled its game against Maryland this weekend. Will they be able to play Ohio State next weekend? Now, if I'm the Big Ten, he can elevate over top of defenders, shoot the basketball, doesn't need much space. And he has been a different player here tonight than we saw last night, where he only scored 7 points up to 20. Would be the sponsor for that, because right now he is on fire, but spending a lot of energy and effort out here to score his 24 points. And you mentioned the elevation level of play this season.
Contrasting styles, physicality of Stanford, up and down nature of Alabama. Jones outside, that's an offensive foul. And the Crimson Tide turn it over on their first possession. Do a triple take at it as soon as the game tipped off, seeing those jerseys for the first time. Jones turns it over.
As for understanding from many of our...
John Petty to try to get his stroke going, because he is still scoreless. He had 14 in the season opening win against Jacksonville State. preseason All-SEC, and he has been held in check so far. Well, look at the rhythm of this game. It just feels like Stanford imposing its will and just finding a way to do what it loves to do. That's play defense and be physical. Delaire with the steal, and he was fouled.
But one thing you can't do, I mean, again, Teddy was built for this. He was built for TV.
Watford finds a cutting Thomas. He was contact, but no foul called, and now a turnover for Alabama.
I think they missed one right there. I think Will Wade should have a legit argument there. He got fouled on that play. 4 big-time scorers in his first year wearing an LSU uniform. Joins the likes of the Pistol.
You can't leave Javon.
West Indiana Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Well, back with it. Not good there. Jones battles Days, comes down with it and keeps it in bounds. Herb Jones would block this shot on Hyatt, and that led to that run out. His wrist, which had been banged up, is better. Pons made a couple of threes yesterday. He is off on the first, but it's Keon Johnson battling and
scoring. That's very unheard of. That just tells you how good he is defensively and all the little things that it takes to win. That's Herb Jones. We're going to have a tournament, and I think it's really terrific, and they need to be saluted, especially the players and the coaches and all the trainers and all the people involved. Because really,
to do at Buffalo, as he said, I do the same thing that I did at Buffalo. I just have a little bit better player. Johnson's drive, no good. Follow up yesterday. 5 on the shot clock. Springer had it, lost it, gets it back. And that ball is blocked by her.
Great moments this year, Rick Barnes' club. They've been a little bit Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know what to expect. Sometimes they look really great, and then other times you...
etc. That the idea that your top seeds are going to just run the table, it doesn't feel like that because of the way the CC tournament, finishing with their worst record under John Calipari. We'll see what the offseason brings with regards to transfer portals and pushing his way through the lane. He's got 13 points, leading the way for Alabama, who was down 15 at one point and have now pulled from Omar Payne. John Fulkerson with a black eye and a facial fracture.
I see that sequence. There's just the Fulkerson. I'm sorry.
Rose Plavcic. That's a 3-ball.
Illinois and an Alabama SEC tournament title, I think, could vault them up there. And Arkansas, interesting enough, is number 9 overall right now.
8-6. That's 31%.
Ravi, watch Alabama in their transition offense. They will always have a guy that's a little bit late to the party. That trail threat is all teams should play like on the opening day. All gas, no brakes. This is a hungry, driven team, Ravi, that they want this SEC title and they want to get all the way to that Final Four.
Guys, if you remember, Herb Jones, Alex Reese, and John Petty all came into Alabama with Collins.
They're having trouble. Kyer, too many dribbles. Fagan finally on a runner, got it to go. All the way around the baseline, off the mark. Rebound cleared off by Kyer, and he's looking to run ahead. Nice feed inside Kamara and one.
Personality. I mean,
here he is on the dish inside. Had to just throw up a prayer because Eder
from the field, so their defense is really the catalyst for their team.
5 on the shot clock. Wheeler got it to Garcia just in the nick of time, and another dime. Trying a little fancy dribble. It's the second time he almost turned it over. Now he does. Wheeler trying to get to the rack, had it blocked. But
in SEC play, Devin Cambridge can't answer. Jalen Williams
point, not a natural point, but did a terrific job in that upset against Tennessee. Allows Flanagan on the wing, 22, to be more of a scorer. But right now, guys like Cambridge, and here's Thor, who's a 5-star prospect, 10 in blue, had a great game.
Coast to coast for the senior from Greensboro, Alabama. Another paint touch for Auburn. And Babatunde Aking bulking through them, and we'll get it up for you as quickly as possible from inside Coleman Coliseum. Wild layup, and that one goes CAA tournament field by Joe Lunardi. Here's Flanagan. Nearly the follow slam. Cardwell streaking, and Bruner picked it off. Lead 15.5 to go. Cambridge, watch that one rim out. Ellis on the floor, on the baseline. Cardwell, he's had plenty of looks. But Akingbola, third chance. Chris Moore. That's a foul. He has 2.
Boy, is he not impressive to talk to, Paul. He's an impressive coach, and you can see why this team is so...
How does Mississippi State get into some offensive rhythm and flow?
They've got to attack this rim like this right here. This right there, Paul. I mean, that's right on cue.
Good job yesterday as well.
Javonte Smart had a line of the lane, and he... 3, that's too strong. You'll see a lot of those. If you haven't watched Alabama, they will try to push the pace, and they're going to either shoot at the rim or...
Year. A terrific 6th man with a lot of juice coming off that bench. Handles the ball, just another guy that can make a play. For anyone Natos puts on the floor, with the exception of his bigs, it's all about free throw attempts, rim shots, and three-point attempts.
Another shot, no good, and there's Herb Jones grabbing that rebound. Jones' best friend, by the way, Trendon Watford of LSU. They grew up together.
His radio show was a piece of work, too, I'll tell you that much.
Him and Sonny Smith, another tremendous coach.
And Johnson, who's been a big part of the second half from three-point land, will try another. That one's short.
Your effort defensively, control how you play at both ends of the floor, play the right way, the shots will fall eventually.
Toulouse.
And I got to tell you this, that Eric Musselman look, speaking of Ted Lasso, there are no tan lines there. None.
No.
0.
Now with 5 made threes in this game, they come in averaging 12. I think they've got to get to that number. Missouri needs to understand.
Blocked by Herb Jones.
And when I worked for Coach Knight, going to get a sandwich was hard. But working for Lon Kruger, he just makes it easy. You play hard, you play. Talking about a kid that struggles for playing time, and he's made the most of it not only today, but against Texas as well.
Tournament multiple times as well. In fact, I believe he went to the Sweet 16 6 times, I believe is what he told me.
Can they guard out on the perimeter? And Mike, I started to say one of the challenges of playing Alabama is not getting knocked out.
Stewart weaving and lost it, and then Herbert Jones.
Possession. I want the ball to get to Tolu Smith.
He's crashing.
As LSU tries to get back in this one.
Well, the do-it-all guy for Alabama has been Herb Jones, and early in this game,
his 5th 3.
It's icing on the cake for Petty. I mean, you cannot leave this guy.
Interesting hire, right? I mean, you're coming from Buffalo down to Alabama, but you know what? Good coaches can coach anywhere.
And an interest. Johnson for. I thought it looked like they said it was a charge. Jones hits on the first. The Tide now 20. Petty on Cooper. Senior on the rook. Cooper baseline pass picked off.
Great deep.
Appleby lost it. Look at Herb Jones get on the Jones still 3 fouls. He had 3 fouls in the first half. Hasn't picked up another one yet. Nice drive, but a short shot. Another. Circle that moment in the game. Pons had the big block. They tried to get a fast break. They had a couple of shots at it. Couldn't score, and back the other way. An alley-oop dunk. There's Fulkerson.
That was huge for Alabama, and they're expecting a lot of that out of him this year. And I mean, like I said, he put the work in, and things were just.
Yeah, classic matchups and classic recruiting thrashes. You think about that Mississippi-Alabama state line.
I got us a little something, too.
Yeah?
Yep. One for you, and one for me.
I love it.
Horn
who played and coached at Western Kentucky.
Yeah, big-time player. Obviously, this is a lot of trust here. If you're Rojas, you got to just find a way to go up and get that. Hollingsworth, like a cornerback, got to close out a game here on the road.
Bothwell, tough shot.
Puts you in a quandary. Do you help and close down the lane and give up a 3? Or that'll happen. That's a tough choice.
Nice with Nate Oates when he was the head coach at Buffalo, and it was in his first year, the year you were talking about in 2015, when
cap in his direction.
Tell you what, Joe McCoy, and we talked to be social distancing from each player's chair, from the coaches, etc., and it makes a difference. And right now we're sitting
back. We've got to stop their transition game.
We've been talking about Alex Reese, guys. Of course, he hit that corner 3 and started jawing at Trendon Watford. You see him here on screen.
He's done it all. He's done it all. Isolations, one-on-one maneuvers, embarrassing guys, drop steps, shoots the 3.
Yesterday. 5 on the shot clock. Springer had it, lost it, gets it back, and that ball is blocked by Herb.
To keep that alive, though. He lays big screens as well. Giving him some minutes to replace Fulkerson.
Wheeler in the paint, and shot was. Well, a good switch from the right to the left hand, but he missed the hook. That one. Kamara in the paint, off the window and off the mark.
On as well. This team is definitely positioned to make a long run to the tournament. It's not just because they're offense.
Some of those numbers.
Woods fouled by Herbert. Rebounding action.
I was watching that. Jeez.
Good games, back-to-back 18-point efforts. He gets it to Keon Brooks. One-on-one against a good defender, Herb Jones, and they're 0 save for Tennessee. They've obviously got some issues right now surrounding that football program, and you could not have made a better hire.
Anything it does offensively, it's just matched on the other end.
Where's people rotating to the ball? The ball's the most dangerous thing on the floor. You got to attack that basketball.
Davion Mintz gets.
One thing, he can make shots. If he gets on a streak shooting, he's excellent. Avery Johnson had him there. Avery left him a nice group of players.
Brad Brownell went to the transfer market to get a 5'10" guard by the name of Nick Honor, and he's already paid off dividends for the time.
What do you do?
Well, we asked Nate Oates, who's your leader, and he said Herb Jones. And the reason why is because when you have those lows, win in college basketball.
Now, talking with Paul Biancardi, Director of Recruiting for ESPN College Basketball. They've got UNLV number 5th. His defense, all conference in that category a season ago. Williams sizing up another shot. The mid-range is there. Williams lost the handle. It pops out to Jones. 3-on-2.
Future, the Chet Holmgrens, the Imani Bates, the guys who are next up coming out of high school. Do they choose to come?
Sometimes shot selection is questionable, but you live with that for what he brings on both ends of the floor.
David Lee to the basket. Points in the opening minutes of the second half. Here's another takeaway. Kira Lewis. Lee trying to find a little bit of room. Gets it to Pippen. Pippen in the lane working on Herbert Jones. High off the backboard. Reached the rebound. Not afraid.
They consist.
Kentucky, he's back right now. He's starting to shoot the three, defends really well. The veteran player played at Yale. You know, Yale's had some quality players there under Coach Jones.
That kind of stuff. Not very many.
The speed of their hands inside that.
And here he is, no question, a first-team All-SEC guy. And like Herb Jones has added a jump shot to his game.
Able to string together a run, a significant one. It needs something. There's Thor left open.
Rupp Arena over Kentucky. See what happens with Joe Lunardi and where he puts Tennessee after that loss. That is
out of Northern Kentucky, more of a scorer into the point guard role. And one thing Arkansas has done during this win streak.
Couldn't squeeze the offensive rebound. I think one of the toughest shots in basketball is when you're running straight ahead. They throw it to you and trail it. You've got almost.
As these two teams today.
No. That's why when everybody tells me, and they're right, that, you know, Alabama is a wide open offensive team.
When you're playing that zone, and most people working out, guaranteed don't work for that often.
Dante Allen came off 7 meetings in this rivalry. Ordinarily, you'd have about 15,000 fans
against Florida.
Herb Jones off to a fast start. He's got 8 points. Dante Allen looking to get on track. Boston sets up for a 3.
Averaging 18 and 8. And frankly, if you don't have Luka Garza or Trace Jackson Davis, that's as good a postman as there's been in the country. 2 in a row.
5-on-5. Work on his body, work on his game. He's in way better shape, as Barnes has said about his guard.
We understand you're only allowing 52 points a game. We're going to come in here and see how well you are at guarding the ball. And right now, Alabama's winning that.
So it's an 8-point lead with a buck 24. They all can score on the floor for Alabama. Bailey, tough 3. That's on.
Top of the league because of the pace they play at. But more possessions means more opportunities for other teams. But
first half, you see the 8 offensive rebounds by Alabama.
They still can go to postseason play. They'll get that fixed up as Nate Oates in his second year. Ball and Oates.
5G nationwide included in every plan with no added fees.
I love 5G.
Do you even know what it is?
Colloquially known as 5G, it delivers
10 points when he was at Villanova. See if Jacksonville State can get something going here right as the clock winds down. Nope.
2 months ago. I'm a completely changed person now that I've been able to hang out with you every Saturday.
Certainly true.
I'm a better man.
Yeah, right? It's got
Watford finds a cutting Thomas. He was swallowed up by 3. Ty, they give it back, and it's Watford.
Little drive right there. Really stepped it up big time. I mean, there's no doubt the big three right now have to come through if LSU's going to win this game. They need the big three to come through down the stretch.
Is wide open, not good there. Jones battles Days, comes down with it and keeps it in bounds.
I'll tell you one thing. Every time you see a little...
Herb Jones would block this shot on Hyatt, and that led to that run out.
Here goes the run out.
Which he had 9 yesterday. 5 on the shot clock. Springer had it, lost it, gets it back. And that ball is blocked by Herb Jones.
Not only for Quinerly, but for anyone Natos puts on the floor with the exception of his bigs. It's all about free throw attempts, rim shots, and three-point attempts for Alabama. That's what they track.
31%.
Ravi, watch Alabama in their transition offense. They will always have a guy that's a little bit late to the party. That trail threat is always there in place for Alabama. It's not just the big.
And again, trying a little fancy dribble. It's the second time he almost turned it over. Now he does. Wheeler trying to get to the rack. Had it blocked by Jones. That's what he does.
So Nadeau's got a new deal. Maybe Eric Musselman will follow suit. Put together a really unique team, Jimmy. Let's talk about the building.
Has their eyes set on as well. This team is definitely positioned to make a long run to the tournament. It's not just because their offense.
Some of those numbers are even better in league play, by the way. Jones
really emphasized the fact of how hard he's been playing recently. The second half of Missouri and then the 2 halves of South Carolina, he said, is the hardest and the most consistent effort Petty has played with.
Herb Jones, another block.
Entice you to shoot the 3 ball more than normal. Another turnover.
Active hands by Bryant. Going against Petty in the paint. Couldn't get it to the rim. Bama will try to push it. Here's Jaden. Blocked by Herb Jones.
From the screen, they were trying to pick and pop Manek right here. They really were. He was trying to get a pick and a pop, and that's just good defense.
And Herb Jones playing all called on the rebounding action.
I was watching that. Jeez.
A nice little jump shot. Facing, very skilled.
He's got 12.
He has to assert himself. There's no doubt sample of what their game is about. And today, Kentucky's done a pretty good job containing it. It's dribble penetration and then kick it out to open threes. And the penetration has not been there because they've done a great job.
He was very curious about whether or not his team would be mature enough to come out and have a great level of attention.
Good defense by 3 ball from the corner off the mark. Adu top floor for the rebound. Here comes State in transition. Stewart all the way rejected by Herbert Jones. What a block. A great hire, I got to say, for Tennessee. They've obviously got some issues right now surrounding that football program, and you could not have made a better hire for your next athletic director. And of course, the great news for
the rough loss on Wednesday.
Well, again, I think well received. If you have a veteran ball club that you know that was just an anomaly and it was an off night and you just weren't shooting well, that's one thing. That's the burn the tape scenario.
Looking for a bucket. And the swat in the lane from Williams. That triggers the break. Cooper bothered on the shot. Terrific hustle by Jones to get back.
Block, and it opened up the weak side board for Jones, who's going to the board every possession.
Cooper, good look to find the open man, and Jones closes out in a hurry.
We were talking before.
And the adjusted offense and defensive numbers back it up. 3 teams I really like, Ravi, nationally that aren't always mentioned. Texas, Houston, and Wisconsin. All 3 of those teams.
You know, it's new. The only way we win is we win the turnover assist battle and we make our threes, and they have done that here in the second half after making Johnson, the freshman. It's Covey to his strong side, the left. That's just blocked by Jones. He picked it out of his hand.
Tremendous defense that time. It was good help by Jaden Shackelford on that play.
Boy, Herb Jones and KJ Buffin squaring up on the baseline, and a foul on Buffin.
Brewer against Shackelford. Mafule kept it in play. Monsanto's blocked by Herbert Jones.
Huge block by Herbert Jones right now. To be able to do that was huge for Alabama, and they're expecting a lot of that out of him this year. And I mean, like I said, he put the work in, and things will definitely work out for him.
Solid defense by Herbert.
Here on the road.
Bothwell, tough shot as the shot clock winds down. They'll say that shot clock, one possession game. Herbert Jones gets it to pay in for Shackelford.
Whatever you have to have it quick, and you have to be efficient here. There goes Herbert Jones again.
Another block shot.
I'm colorblind, and Stanford's uniform is they're giving me issues right now. So
Williams rejected by Jones.
So calling the game.
Off the leg.
I think it went off of Alabama. Yep. Staying here.
Yep, so it'll be Gamecock ball. Quick shot from Henry, as there wasn't much time to take it. It's when he was at Villanova. See if Jacksonville State can get something going here right as the clock winds down. Nope.
Year of playing for LSU, he won it.
Brendan Watford right over one of his best friends, Herb Jones. They grew up together. They play ball together.
Many great players.
Sure have. Kevin Durant, Carmelo Anthony, and it's Cam Thomas who leads Oak Hill.
Herb does it different right now. He does it attacking. He's always in attack mode, and he's just a great team player. He's a coach's dream.
They left Thomas.
They beat him by 25, Carl.
They hammered
25.
him. Not a 3-minute and 15-second scoring drought for LSU. They find Smart wide open.
We've been talking about Alex Reese, guys. Of course, he hit that corner three and started jawing at Trendon Watford. You see him here on screen.
Desire. I mean, watch this right here. You talk about Desire. What a great catch and a jam. Unbelievable play. Yes, sir. He's done it all. He's done it all. Isolations, one-on-one maneuvers, embarrassing guys, drop steps, shoots the three. It's Kentucky. He's back right now. He's starting to shoot the three, defends really well. The veteran player played at Yale. You know, Yale's had some quality players there under Coach Jones.
The number of bounce passes within the paint were off the charts, and it worked.
Well, they beat Kentucky.
Back in tonight, 8:30 Eastern time. Josh Pastner talked early. We did one of his games about the challenges they faced with COVID and how they practiced, but now they're in that championship against. Vescovi is on Herb Jones. He's desperately trying to get open, and he will draw the foul on Santiago.
He wanted to say he's not really doesn't feel down about coming off the bench.
No, 29 minutes. You know, they could have, when Primo went down, started that kind of stuff. Not very many. The speed of their hands inside that.
His radio show was a piece of work, too, I'll tell you that much.
Him and Sonny Smith, another tremendous coach.
And
he's terrific.
First double-digit lead now for Alabama. Wheeler, the kick out. Kamara for three. Buried it. Johnson, who's been a big part of the second half from three-point land, will try another. That one's short.
And not just the turnovers, the points off the turnovers significant. 17 for Alabama, 2 for Auburn. Pace and tempo of this one, led by as many as 16 in that opening half, up by 10 early on in the second. Cooper out. He's Auburn's leading scorer.
I think trying to get him maybe some post-ups down low or some action going to that left hand as a driver.
Oh, Devin Cambridge
from the COVID pause in their program just picked up where they left off, but just such a surprise outing after seeing that score.
Thor able to string together a run, a significant one. It needs something. There's Thor left open.
7-foot sophomore out of Amsterdam, and Derek Fountain wearing number 20. Really interesting story as Fountain played a grand total post steps Rupp Arena over Kentucky. See what happens with Joe Lunardi and where he puts Tennessee after that loss. That is Quinterly. The crowd wants a traveling violation. Smith with it. Johnson, wow, a couple of dribbles, step opportunity now for Mississippi State if they go quickly, maybe looking for the first best shot or a three-pointer on the way by Jalen.
But one, they're 1 of 10. We've had 16 fouls called to the 9-minute mark in the first half. Moses Moody, corner.
Yeah, they love threes, but Nate Oates will tell you they love layups and free throws even more.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Runner, nice looking shot that time. Trey Thomas, the freshman.
Well, but missed it right at the rim. Fire wants 3.
It's not one that's going to get in a fist fight. It's not an over physical team, but this Bama squad will make South Carolina make jump shots.
Couldn't squeeze the offensive rebound. I think one of the toughest shots in basketball is when you're running straight ahead. They throw it to you, trail it. You've got almost.
Fell down, help came, he just made the game easy, kicked it to Shackelford,
who had nearly 500 points as a freshman, one of the top 5 freshman scorers in school history.
Talking about a kid that struggles for playing time, and he's made the most of it not only today, but against Texas as well.
And it's Kentucky basketball. Allen, that's his shot, knocks down a on the floor. It's Kentucky had it. They didn't get a timeout. Mins 3. No good. And Alabama, Petty.
Say for Tennessee, they've obviously got some issues right now surrounding that football program, and you could not have made a better hire.
Back in the day, you know, when a player gets in that rhythm, what does this feel like?
I couldn't tell you from personal experience. I can tell you what it feels like.
Job yesterday as well.
Javonte Smart had a line of the lane, and he played defense. And collectively, they have bought into that as Watford continues to work in the paint. Gets enough. Vescovi now guarded by Quinterly. What he was able to do at Buffalo, as he said, I do the same thing that I did at Buffalo. I just have a little bit better player. Johnson's drive yesterday. 5 on the shot clock. Springer had it, lost it, gets it back. And that ball is blocked by her.
Wheeler in the paint, and shot was. Well, a good switch from the right to the left hand, but he missed the hook. That one. Kamara in the paint, off the window and off the mark.
One-on-one and require as little help as possible because the rotations and closeouts will just kill you against this Alabama team. Nevertheless, give yourself a chance, but you know, with 23 turnovers and less than 40% from the field, not going to get it done. Credit Alabama's defense as well.
Success is never boring. Molinar lays it up and in. That's the way
for it, but Bruner has. And Bruner may be one of those guys you lay off of. He's a 30% three-point shooter.
This in mind, and we never know how layoffs are going to affect anybody, and it's only a short layoff. If they had a game against got to do better with turnovers. Right. They just have to stop turning the ball over. There's not much to nitpick about Alabama's season.
On as well, this team is definitely positioned to make a long run to the tournament. It's not just because their offense.
Some of those numbers in the league play a runaway train right now at the top of the conference. Alabama continues the quest for its beyond the arc. And a great number there, 10 times this year.
He's got a dozen tonight. Bama by a deuce. Minaya drive.
Really nice job by 23 and gold on that end.
Tough shot for Smith.
Blocked by Herb Jones. At the course of the season, and his Florida teammates in a battle with South Carolina right now at the half. Watford off the mark.
I realize, hey, we're actually even better than we thought we'd be. Now the standard's even higher. And when he was at Buffalo, they were top 30 in offense and defense and made it to the
rebounding action.
I was watching that. Jeez.
He deflected that. So a great defensive stand by Jackson.
Yeah, he does a good job defensively. Tremendous defense, high low, dump it down, little layup. We had that game, and they were beating them to the basket for layups.
Yep.
So it's very difficult to defend them.
Boston aggressive.
Shot, facing, very skilled.
He's got 12.
All this attention. He was very curious about whether or not his team would be mature enough to come out and have a great level of attention.
Put it up or kick. Javonte Smart picks up the dribble. Watford into traffic and banks it in. Anything it does offensively, it's just matched on the other end. If you claim to be tough in this league, I think you got to ask Herbert Jones first, if you're allowed to use that moniker. Might be the toughest guy.
Where's people rotating to the ball? The ball's the most dangerous thing on the floor. You got to attack that basketball.
Davion Mintz gets.
May I have a balloon too?
Sure. Your parents have maintained a farmer's home policy for 12 consecutive months, right?
We are Jones still 3 fouls. He had 3 fouls in the first half. Hasn't picked up another one yet. Nice drive, but a short shot. Barnes with his offense right in front of him. Good show from Alabama for sure. Sliding all over the paint with the play, and they are putting it to Tennessee right now. Bailey, a pass. 5 on the shot clock. James lays it in. Vescovi to his strong side, the left. That's just blocked by Jones. Try that same entry pass. This time it works. He'll kick it around the perimeter. Tough drive by Crow.
Finds Brewer. Hit a 3 a moment ago. Patterson open, but Herb Jones right there on defense. Now in the paint, Patterson leaves it short. Crimson.
That was huge for Alabama, and they expecting a lot of that out of him this year. And I mean, like I said, he put the work in, and things were just.
Yeah, classic matchups and classic recruiting thrashes. You think about that Mississippi-Alabama state line.
Program.
Yeah, I think he was tailor-made for the program. When you go to a school like Alabama, this is a lot of trust here. If you're Rojas, you got to just find a way to go up and get that. Hollingsworth, like a cornerback, got.
Now is the time to join T-Mobile.
NBA scouts will be making plenty of trips to Bowling Green.
VP of the league, Jones.
Alabama man-to-man. Javonte Smart, big game yesterday. High 3, that was halfway down and out.
He's the best long-range shooter in the conference.
Come on, that was from the other side of the logo C.
That wasn't real.
Herb Jones went to the rack against his buddy Watford. Access denied.
Here's my one thing. He's not thinking about all the wins and all the great moments they've had winning the regular season title. He wants today. You can feel it. You can feel his passion and how animated he is on that sideline.
Watford finds a cutting Thomas. He was swallowed up by 3 tied. They give it back, and it's Watford. No foul, a lot of contact, but no foul called, and now a turnover for Alabama.
I think they missed one right there. I think Will Wade should have a legit argument there. He got fouled on that play.
Herb recovers the rebound, and now numbers 4.
They're really brilliant tonight.
For point number 20, Trend in Watford. And he rattles it in.
3 of them can flat out plays. A threesome, you don't find a better threesome maybe in the country than those 3 guys. I mean, come on. They are so talented, especially offensively.
Quinterly was on the ground when he threw
the bounce. I mean, there's no question he's going to be a first-round pick in the NBA draft. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, he's just really a talented player. I like to see the kids stay in school, but it's pretty tough to turn that down. So there is another one. Wow, I forgot all about that with Anthony. Just assumed he was their #1 scorer, but he was not. #4. When they analyze his game, first thing they talk about is defensive shot blocking ability.
Collins hasn't scored a point, but he is certainly through the lane. He's got 13 points, leading the way for Alabama, who was down 15 at one point and have now pulled within 3 with 12:31 still to go. See the difference in the second. See if that shot clock being stuck, Dickie V settled things down or perhaps interrupted the momentum that Alabama has built.
Yeah, you don't like that happening when you suddenly have that momentum in a conference. All these clubs are going to be tough outs in the NCAA tournament. They really are.
Yep.
They're going to be very solid basketball teams that are going to create a lot of problems for some clubs to beat. And especially rotate it, get that backspin. Man, can we go to OT? I got nowhere to go, Carl. Let's have a little OT.
Tennessee 11-14. Not a steal. Another turnover. He's got Shackelford ahead. He got it to him a little late. They're going to call goaltending as Adu got it off the backboard. 2 points for Jaden Shackelford, and he's off. Well, we know what Sunday is. It is Selection Sunday. You've got a variety of options. You can go to the SEC Network to follow the SEC teams, or you go to the Big Boys Sunday at 7 o'clock Eastern Time.
#1 in white. Defensive Player of the Year. His voice is as good as I've seen in this league in a long time. And what has helped is the development of his buddy Petty. You can now put John Petty on the other team's best player.
Kyer looking to drive the baseline, and Georgia again had an opportunity inside. Kamara missed a layup. On the inside, tough shot, fade away by Garcia, won't go. And here is Herb Jones, Dogs. Wheeler's going to take a 3. Three-point shooting has been one of the problems for Georgia. Sometimes they're good at the consistency. Wheeler's going to try a long 3 off the mark. And Jones is going to run down the rebound, or at least tip it over to Primo.
Brad, that's not his strength.
He drives right to the goal. Boy, they drive the basketball, don't they? They really attack.
That's Jaden Shackelford, and that is their 30th point in the paint, although because of Watford.
That's a real tribute to that young guy. Gets some loose
I don't think it's ever
right
happened, and that's one of the reasons he's Player of the Year. He caused that turnover, and it is Alabama who...
Yeah, the league has a lot of outstanding coaches. You know, Tom Crean in Georgia, he did a great job with that program. I'm telling you, got him to play fast-paced basketball. They should put him in the NIT. They've had some quality wins. I really believe that. I mean, Tom
still have 12:56 to go here, and they already have 6.
That could be big late in the game, Carl, as we know, we've seen so many times. 10-0 run by Bama.
Jones launches a 3. That's too strong. You'll see a lot of those. If you haven't watched Alabama, they will try to push the pace, and they're going to either shoot at the rim or take a 3. You will not see a lot of
44% on the year. A terrific 6th man with a lot of juice coming off that bench. Handles the ball, just another guy that can make a play, knock down 3s.
They have tweaked his leg. We'll keep
how they are, and that's, you have to be that in March. You got to be hungry and driven and tough and nasty, but man, you got to be relaxed and loose. Alabama has had 4 title chances this year. They missed a power forward defender with point guard skills, and again, he is about winning. Herb Jones is about winning as much as anybody in college basketball. I would say Trent Frazier
had 6 points, most of them early portion of the first half. They're trying to get it to him in the paint. There's just too many long arms in there. And it's Jones, coast to coast, swatted out of there by Kamara.
Players that clinch that game.
Another turnover. A 9th by Auburn.
Those are those questionable shots, though. I mean, that's he can make it, but it's not a great look. Oh, boy, another turnover.
Yep.
Defensive end. They've got Alabama just 30% from 3, under 40% overall, and they bothered them some with this zone.
Who's this going to be on? It's whistled.
Free throws, I get all that, but there was a reason for that. You know, I mean, they were going at Alabama relentlessly, and that's what you got to do if you're Mississippi State.
Good strip once again.
The two teams mirror images of each other. I mean, each coach has been there the exact same amount of time. The only difference, really, Alabama will shoot a few more threes. There's a turnover. Moses.
Young man has been working hard, just trying to find a few minutes on the floor here and there, and he gets a rare start today on senior day. Steal forced by the Tide. Contested three from the top. Rebound in traffic. It squirts out to right. And then he has it poked away.
Absolutely not. And I got to tell you this, that Eric Musselman look, speaking of Ted Lasso, there are no tan lines there. None.
No.
Zero.
He has definitely been.
And requires as a lead guard for Frank's teams. He needs a guy out there that can demand respect, command respect, and handle sometimes the coaching staff on the sideline.
From what Missouri has shown you here, as we're about to get under the 16-minute break and take a timeout, should they be considered a higher seed? Alabama, according to Lunardi, with a win, really solidified or was in a great.
And as we got into the season, realized, hey, we're actually even better than we thought we'd be. Now the standard's even higher. And when he was at Buffalo, they were top 30 in offense and defense and made it to the Sweet 16. And he feels like that's where you have to be if you.
Like I always said, man, when I worked for Coach Knight, going to get a sandwich was hard. But working for Lon Kruger, he just makes it easy. He you play hard, you play, you don't, you don't.
Just so comfortable in that chair. And here all day, college basketball leading you to 6 Eastern time. Kansas, which tried to come back at Oklahoma last Saturday. Sooners held them off. Kansas on the road at Tennessee. And then Gonzaga
against Mississippi State.
Bad pass. Jones had it. And Jones, did he hurt his leg again?
And that's their game. They make 11 a game, third in the nation shooting the three. And tonight, they're like 2 for 16 after starting the game, going 3 for 3. But that's big. Those threes can change it.
The team has won the last 7 meetings in this rivalry. Ordinarily, you'd have about 15,000 fans to watch Alabama play right now. Of course, like everywhere else. Stewart. Weaving and lost it, and then Herbert Jones threw it off his body out of bounds. He's so instinctual. Reads things the way a lot of players simply don't read. Look, thank you, Herbert. Oh, you made me look good on that one. Herbert Jones, thank you. At Weber State. Actually guarded Sidney Moncrief at an NCAA tournament game.
Wow, what an unfortunate break.
One go in. The rim is an ocean. We're seeing it now early in this one.
Now, if you thought he couldn't top the performance from Saturday when he broke the program's all-time three-point record, he's trying to one-up himself.
That stick hand up. However, this is a different level of confidence that this Alabama team has from last year when Arkansas was playing them to today.
The problem is the only one scoring right now.
And the other problem is he's got a long way to go on the defensive side of the ball. He's a terrific scorer. Not the quickest.
Did a terrific job. Interesting hire, right? I mean, you're coming from Buffalo down to Alabama, but you know what? Good coaches can coach anywhere.
And an interesting approach, right, Dan? I mean, they'll play some 5 out on offense.
They're undefeated. He's averaging 18 and 8. And frankly, if you don't have Luka Garza or Trace Jackson Davis, that's as good a postman as there's been in the country. 2 in a row right there, Beth. 2 turnovers in a row. That key
school. Najee Harris talking about Megan Rapinoe and people that, you know, make their dreams come true through hard work. It's all Very good. Johnson for... I thought it looked like they said it was a charge.
That is no matter who, the number of years.
Jones hits on the first. The Tide now 22 of 26 at the free throw line.
Appleby lost it. Look at Herb Jones get on the floor, and he calls timeout. He didn't get the side. James Rojas has got a career high, 13 now. A very balanced effort tonight from Alabama with 3:30 to go, and here's another turnover.
Glass kept it alive, and we'll see what happens.
He had a chance, and he's fumbling and bumbling it, and he's down on the floor again, and it's going to be Alabama ball. Almost.
He'll look at that film and say, Coach Dykes was right. It was my...
Take a look at our Alabama starting lineups, brought to you by Farm Rich, and this Alabama team looks like this. Herbert Jones, Jordan Bruner, Jaden Shackelford.
And now we'll see if the Bucks can respond, but it's a steal for Herbert Jones. Driving, scoring, Herbert Jones of Alabama. How about 23?
Yeah.
More hands-up defense for the Crimson Tide. Gets a quick steal. Herbert Jones right to Quinterly.
Of the game. Charles Bassey, 4 points off his career high. He has been the story. Herbert Jones has been good. 12 points, 2 rebounds. As always, superb defense by the senior. But
quick hands. Clemson forcing another turn. Tonight, we see these two programs meeting on the hardwood, both poised to have successful seasons and both looking for a quality out-of-conference victory tonight. What a quality shot there with the unstoppable. And Vault Health. Vault has FDA, EAU authorized at-home COVID-19 testing. It's fast, easy, and painless.
First half, you see the 8 offensive rebounds by Alabama, lead to 11 second chance points, which has been the difference in
largest lead at 19. Duke needs a bucket, or Watson. Instead, Jones comes away with the steal, and he was fouled. I was surprised to learn just how UNLV hadn't experienced any recent success in just getting ready for the Camping World Maui Invitational. Williams lost the handle. It pops out to Jones. 3-on-2. Shackelford the runner.
Long range shot rattles out. Almost a second chance for Jacksonville State. Taken away. There's Herb Jones. Taken away. There's Herb Jones with the step around.